I'm trying to see if I'm live. Hello. Hi there. Okay, so we need to find out, can you hear me right now? Because I can't tell. I switched up on my mic and I can't tell if it's actually working right now. So please do let me know in the description in the chat, if you can hear me. I'd appreciate it. Yay, thank you. All right, girl. Okay. This is going to be different. Hello, everyone. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Thank goodness. So, hi there. I'm glad that you guys joined. Thank you very much. Yes, it's Wednesday, and sometimes I contemplate. I'm like, are you gonna go live today? Like, yeah. I put the thumbnail out there and said I was going live, so I'm going live. So, anyways, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much. It is just me, myself, and you today. So, yeah, thank you for joining. And I considered what I wanted to talk about, and I figured this is another good time to talk about pet sitting and about that wonderful world. Why? Because I'm about to go pet sit next week. I'm headed to Madrid next week, and I'll be there for, I guess, just over a weekend. Pretty excited about that. So, yeah. But before we get started, please do let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am Yolanda. I am Locating Cozy, and this is a broad chat. So, thank you guys for joining. And I know some people are in the US, it's lunchtime, and some of us are here in Spain, and it's 7 o'clock and it's not dinner time yet. So, okay. Yeah, there we do the late meals here. We don't eat dinner until 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm still fighting that. But thanks for joining. Before we get started and go further, please do make sure that you do like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up down there somewhere. Make sure that you are subscribing and that you hit the notification bell so you will know the next time I go live, I upload something, or if I have something very intelligent to say. It comes and goes. Yeah. So since it's just me, myself, and me, first of all, please do make sure that you go in the comments and say hello. And I appreciate, you all joining. Hello, Aileen. Good to see you, girl. Thank you for coming on in and hanging out with me this afternoon or this evening, my time. And yes, I see that Bayesian Alpha 4, Christine is here. And, oh, okay. I know Ash. Wait a minute. Okay, I like this. Happy to be here today. Hi there. Okay, I'm hoping I'm saying this right. I know Ash. Okay. And you know what? This could be like so many other things. Yeah, but I'm going with I know Ash or I know Wash. I don't know. Hello. Okay. Someone new. I haven't seen your name before. Oh, okay, yes. Yep, I know Ash. Hey, I like that. That's cool. Yes, but I haven't seen you before. So welcome to my channel. Welcome to the live. This is awesome. Whenever I see new people coming in live, makes me feel good. I feel special right now. Hello. So again, let's see here. What's going on in my world right now? Yes, I like to go in and let's see here, talk about what is going on in my world. What's going on in your world? Please do share in the comments. What have you been up to? How is your week going? I would love to know. Other people would love to know. We like to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and just talk about the great things that we are striving for. And what's going on in my world right now? Well, I was going to bring up something that I was working on, but I actually wanted to share that I'm really excited about booking new guests coming up. I have my list of guests that will be on, I'll be interviewing on here is actually growing. So what happened was, let me move my speaker out the way. What happened was, well, first of all, I always forget to turn off my, put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So we're doing that now. So I had said a couple of weeks ago that I have had a lot more Black women inquiring about what it's like to be a parent here in Spain. And I can't speak on that because my kids are grown and gone. Thank you. And I do have a granddaughter here who is in school now because they start school at age 3, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, they start public school like pre-K early, but she was born here, so she's she speaks she's Spanish and she's growing up speaking Spanish here in school. So it's going to be different than maybe an American with American children coming over. So I put the word out and I posted in several groups that I belong to saying like, hey, if you are a Black woman that is parenting, that has moved to Spain and is parenting here, I would love to know. And I'd like to interview you. So I put them up in the groups and I didn't really get any replies at first. And I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of like, I know that there's Black parents here. So what's happening? Why aren't they responding? And so I actually took it upon myself to go down a YouTube search trying to find Black parents Black parents who have moved here with their kids. And all of a sudden, though, in the past, I guess, week, I've had about 5 or 6 inquiries from people that have seen my post in the group saying, yes, I would like to be interviewed and talk about parenting mostly as Black Americans, but like there was a young lady, Gilda, that I interviewed last week, and she was from, she grew up in France. Yeah, her family's in France, and she was born in close to Equatorial New Guinea, I think. Anyways, but still, as a Black person, I wanted to just speak to this Black woman about her experiences. So I'm happy to say that now I am actually starting to get more inquiries and more women and parents that actually do want to talk and share their story. So that felt good. I did a pre-screen today of a young lady that I'm excited that I'll be we'll be doing a live with her on I think March 26th. So I'm excited. This is really cool. And yeah, going with that. So that's what's going on in my world. What else? I was just about to say something else that was going on and I have forgotten. Oh, the other cool thing about it is because I'm starting to get more, I'm interviewing more Black women that are actually either in Spain or just like not on US Central Standard Time, that it kind of it makes it easier to schedule interviews since I go live on Wednesdays here at 12 noon US time, which is usually y'all's lunchtime, but here it's 7. So it's a little bit easier to schedule my interviews with somebody who's here in Spain or on the European time. And then on Sundays, it's easier to maybe schedule with someone that's in the USA or in Mexico that can meet with me at 5 o'clock USA time. So it's very helpful. I'm very thankful for that experience. So yay. Anyways, and let's see, let's go into the comments just to say hello to people because they're coming in. Oh, okay. So yes, Aileen says, I'm flying out tomorrow to Mazatlan, Mexico for a scouting trip. Okay. I've heard so much. I belong to several, not several, but a few WhatsApp groups that are really giving so much great detail and information about the different places they are scouting to see what country will fit them best. Aileen, where else have you gone to scout? Is this your first time or have you gone to other places already just to check, or have you experienced other countries or something that has caught your attention? I would actually love to ask everybody that's here, if you're here now or if you are, catching the replay, put it in the comments. Where have you been? Where have you visited, whether you were bopping or just scouting or on vacation? Where have you been that made you kind of consider, like, I might be able to do life over here, wherever here is? So yeah, please do share. For me, most of you guys know that I thought I was going to be moving to Mexico, and I really did love Mexico, but also Spain was like just giving me all the hugs and love. And so that's how I ended up here. Plus bonus, my youngest daughter and my only grandchild were here. Yeah. Okay. So I have family here. I have a whole family here now. Including my son-in-law and his family that, yeah. I have a whole Colombian family here. Okay. It's amazing. So what else is happening? Well, for this one, I will say that I like to ask, how are you locating your cozy? What are you doing that is just about you, that is making you happy? It's not for the sake of anybody else. It is for you. Please do. I would love to know, how are you locating your cozy? What are you doing? Share that in the comments. Let me know something, as I was screening the young lady today that's going to be doing a live with me in a few weeks, I let her know that when I ask about the locating cozy or how you're locating your cozy, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It doesn't have to be like, oh my goodness, I took, $10,000 out of my bank account and I just went and just splurged, or you don't have to be doing something extreme. Extreme is nice. Don't get me wrong, but it can also be something that is just for you, that just makes you feel good. I've talked to women that have just said, who was that? I think it was Dr. Linda that said one day she went to the store and she usually gets the kids candy or the treat or whatever. And she actually just got the treat for herself and she ate it. It was hers. She's like, I didn't get the kids a treat this time. I got one for myself. And that was just like, yes, it was just all about me. Yeah. So what am I doing? How am I locating my cozy? Okay. So now y'all know I go live like twice a week. Okay. So sometimes I don't have like a big epiphany of how I'm locating my cozy, and that's okay too. Today, and usually when I say I don't have anything, I'll be like, I don't have anything. And then I'll be like, girl, didn't you just, take a nice afternoon nap or go for a nice walk? So I was just about to say again, I uh, I don't have anything, and then I realized I've actually been on a pretty good stride of getting up extra early and going for a nice walk, because the daybreak is coming about 7:30 right now. It's going to get lighter a little bit earlier soon, but yeah, in the past week, I have been walking. I've been doing like 3 miles every day, and I didn't do it today. But yeah, and it feels great. It gives me such clarity just to be able to get up. And each day I walk in a different direction. Zargos is not huge, but each day I go in a different direction, and that's very nice. It is. And yesterday morning, I got up at like 4:30, but I got up with a list of things that I needed to do. And then by the time 7 o'clock rolled around, I said, okay, now get dressed and go ahead. And I went for that wonderful walk. And yeah, it kind of fed my soul in a different way. And I got back and I was tired. I actually wanted to go back to sleep after I did that walk, because I had been up since 4:30. But I got a lot of stuff done yesterday after that. And yeah, so that's how I'm locating my cozy. What y'all doing? How are you locating your cozy? Please do share. As we get ready, so let's see here. Okay, I'm just going back here. So Erica was saying that she says she's been to Guadalajara, Mexico twice in the past few months and think it's her spot. People just sometimes get that sweet spot, that feeling that they just know. Because sometimes you can go to some place and you think that's where you are going to end up, and then you kind of realize, like, no, it's not talking to me. And then you go someplace else and you hear that whisper is like it becomes pretty loud. It's like a gentle nudge, and then it's like, girl, come on, you know where you're supposed to be. Okay. And so Aileen was saying that this is my first time in Mexico and scouting. I've been to Ireland and Scotland for my 50th birthday. Ooh, but that wasn't to look for anything, even though I could see myself living in Scotland also. Okay. Wow. I'm hoping to do some travel around Europe in the second half of the year, but we'll see. Right now, my schedule is pretty busy for the next few months. And then also, I just found out that Exodus Summit is having a meetup in Lisbon in October, and they're having one in Colombia also. I won't be able to go to Colombia. I don't, but and I really hate that I missed the Vietnam meetup, but that's okay. I admit I have FOMO, but I am going to Lisbon. That's my plan, God willing. I'll be in Lisbon. It's right next door. I'm going to Lisbon. I was there last year too, went for the meetup. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm just trying to see. Oh, okay. Let's see. I want to see. She says, locating my cozy, taking a break from my work day with a cup of tea to watch this live. Yes. Sometimes locating your cozy means just sit up here and we just chat and you listen to whatever I got to say and stuff. Because I think that a lot of times when I go live, I hope that I have some thoughts that you find valuable. So yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes. Hey. And okay. Ooh, I know Ash says taking weekend trips around Texas. Just got back from just got back to Corpus Christi. Okay. Did you just get back from or to Corpus Christi? Which this has got to kind of lead into what our topic of the day is anyway. So yes, so today's topic is about pet sitting. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it again, I was kind of contemplating. I was like, girl, you are literally going to Madrid next week and you're going to be pet sitting. And I'm looking forward to that. I truly am. I've pet sit for this woman before. And every time she goes back to the States, she will reach out to me to ask me if I am available, if I feel like coming and hanging out in Madrid for a while. And actually, she had one pet sit for next week, and then she has another one in April, and I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I actually referred that one over to someone else within the community, and she's going to take it. So yay. Anyways, but I just wanted to kind of share because I have some content already up about pet sitting, like I did, like from beginning to the beginning of the process to the end. But sometimes it just helps to come back and talk about it, to share, because people still a lot of times have this idea of what pet sitting is or isn't. They have some kind of maybe some stigma, like, oh, you're just a pet sitter? That's what you do? Yes. Absolutely. It is not a fact of that's just what you do. Oh, you're a pet sitter. I guess years ago, that was like you see it in a movie where it's like, oh, he's the dog walker. Oh, they're the maid. You know what? These are people that have honed in on a particular skill set that maybe makes their life a lot easier. A lot less stress, because not everybody wants to work in corporate America, just like nonstop and just dealing with all the personalities and the craziness of that. So for me, I've had pets for a while. I'd had pets for a while before I started my first pet sit, but and I'd used pet sitters before. I had used Rover back when I was living in Dallas. And it's much like, Rover is another platform. Just think like Airbnb for pet sitters, to get you guys connected. So that's great. It's expensive, of course, yes. And I actually, I reviewed and found the pet sitters that work for me. Like when I went to Hawaii in, I think 2022, I paid a pet sitter. But I had to take my pets to their home. But yeah, it was about $600 that I paid just for that week that they were there. It was my cat and my dog, in which case that was a medium end of cost for them to take care of my pets. And they did a great job. Don't get me wrong. It was wonderful. And I found another pet sitter that my dog had stayed with before. So there is, that's a great avenue. What I didn't know is I didn't know about pet sitting as a, I guess, bartering where like in exchange for lodging, you can actually find somebody who will take care of your home and your pet. And I didn't know about that. And I remember I found out about pet sitting a couple of months after paying a pet sitter for a couple of times when I went to Hawaii, and I went someplace else. I can't remember. Anyways, paid some good money. And then I found out about trusted house sitters, and I was actually kind of pissed at myself. I was like, girl, you spent all this money and this platform has been around all this time. Yeah, I was feeling some kind of way. But you know what? You find out about things when you're supposed to. And and when you know better, you do better. And for some people, that this platform is not for everybody. Whether you're a pet owner, a homeowner, or providing the service, you're the one that wants to be the pet sitter. It's not for everybody, okay? So there's always things to consider. And I do want to make sure that if you want a different take on like my full breakdown, there is a playlist in the description that is that's the logistics of pet sitting. And there's 2 vlogs for if you're interested in pet sitting, and then there's 1 for if you are a homeowner or pet owner. So yes, there's a whole playlist that will actually give you some great insight. So some things that I'm saying I will be sharing that's new based on my newer experiences, and some things I will be a repeat because I can. Okay. So yes. So one of the questions is, of course, what inspired me to I'm sorry, back up. If you have questions, I do encourage you to ask questions. If you're here during the live, put a Q in front, and so I'll know that there's a question there. And if you are watching this as a replay, #replay, then just put it in the comments, and I will happily respond back and let you know my thoughts or insight if your questions were not answered already. Okay, great. So basically, what inspired me to start pet sitting full time? Okay, so everybody, if you know me, you know I was paying about $1,700 a month in rent. With utilities and everything else, about about 2,000. Okay, and at the time when I was just looking for another way to possibly live, another way to experience life. That's when I went down this rabbit hole of researching on YouTube, and I came across Stephanie Perry, and she had introduced me to the idea, or introduced everyone to this idea of pet sitting. And so that's where it started. And then after my first pet sit was pet sit in my hometown of Houston over Thanksgiving. I did my first pet sit, and my lease was coming up going to end at the end of January. And after that first pet sit in November, I said, I can do this. And let's figure out how you can do this and take this show on the road and take the job on the road and do all of this. How can I do this? And yeah, that's what I did. I literally gave up my apartment. Now, I will say, if y'all know, I actually, because I found out about the pet sitting, in September, maybe August, September. That's when I found out about pet sitting. And then also that October was my very first Exodus Summit that I had attended. So I thought I was going to be getting information about taking my job on the road. So 2 days after that, I had already went on leave with my job. Yeah, I went on leave with my job, not knowing I wasn't coming back to that trash job. And then I had decided to go ahead and not renew my lease and just do this pet sitting full time. It was something that I knew was going to be life-changing. And in my mind, I was like, do you really want to go and stay in people's houses and just bop around? I didn't know, but the thing is this. If I felt like it wasn't going to work for me, or if this was not something that I wanted to continue to do full time more than, a month after giving up my apartment, I could change my mind. I can go ahead and get another apartment if I felt like I don't want to be, for the lack of better words, living out of my vehicle. Because I had I forgot the vehicle that I had. Anyways, I had a vehicle. I had an SUV, and But yeah, that's the key. I could change my mind. I could pivot and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's okay. But I went ahead and went gung ho. And I also knew that I was probably going to be leaving the country. I knew I could change my mind. I knew I could start over. But when I let go of my apartment, I literally let go of everything. I put very little in storage. So there was a bigger picture that was happening that I wasn't sure about and not sure how I was going to do it, but I knew something big was happening. Okay. So that's how I got started with pet sitting. I gave up my apartment and I said, I'm going to do this full time. And then I moved out of my apartment January 27th, 2023. And I did my first pet sit in Houston, my first official pet sit without having a home to come back to. Was it February like 3rd or 4th that following month? Yeah. I was like, boom, and I'm out. And this is what we're doing now. So finding my first pet sit, trusted house sitters. Yep, I followed Stephanie Perry's, what she said to do as far as that introduction letter, the introduction email or whatever for your first application, just saying, hey, I'm new to pet sitting. I put my own spin on it. And that's how the party started. That's how I got started. And I think I had applied for maybe 3 sits. And by the 3rd sit, yes, this wonderful couple was like, yes, we want you. We want you to come. And so, again, it's never a matter of just, we want you, and then I just go. You have to be mindful and understand what your wants or needs are. And I've said this in previous, again, go back and watch my the playlist about the logistics of pet sitting. Before you get started on pet sitting, please make sure that you kind of do your own self-assessment to understand what you want to get out of it. So just please note, as I'm giving you the synopsis right now of my experience with pet sitting, please note that I did not just jump up and just make this decision and I didn't do it blindly. I did have to do my own little girl, what are you doing? What does this possibly look like? This whole transition that I was going through in latter 2022 into 2023 and beyond, up to me moving to Spain, there was a lot of I know I'm doing this, but what does this look like? What do I expect? I had a whole bunch of what if scenarios going on in my head, and I definitely had that with pet sitting. Because the thing is this, when you're pet sitting or house sitting and you have a home to go back to, you can be, especially if you're doing local pet sits, you can be like, I don't want to do that. That's okay. But I realized that when I was doing the pet sits initially, because I gave up my apartment, I didn't have my own home to go to, I was like, just let me get the sit. Because I sat down once a week or whatever to sit down and manage the logistics of me traveling. Basically, I was traveling around Texas in my vehicle between Houston, Dallas, and Austin. So I had to make sure I had a place to stay. Now I had a place in the downtime, in between time of not having a pet sit. I had my oldest daughter that lives in Houston. I had one of my best friends that had a 2-bedroom, and she was like, whenever you need a place to rest in between, if you don't have a sit, I had a place to stay. So understand that. But my goal was to not have to utilize those resources or use them very sparingly, because they have their own lives, and I don't want to be laid up in their house all the time. So that was my goal. And so since I didn't have a place of my own, I probably initially was accepting some sits that I didn't do my full due diligence on. And I was like, oh, they sound good. The video chat was good. Yeah, let's do it. And I made some mistakes in the very beginning. Nothing, well, besides the one situation, but overall, I may have selected 1 or 2 pet sits that I probably shouldn't have. Okay. And I think I have a vlog out there in the playlist that talks about some of my craziest pet sitting experiences. I might touch back on 1 or 2 in this conversation, but overall, now looking the first few months of me pet sitting, yeah, I probably like selected some pet sits just out of necessity because I didn't want to have to ask and go stay with my best friend, or my daughter. And so I just accepted a pet sit that maybe was not the best idea, but it is what it is. Lesson learned. What were my biggest fears or concerns when I started this pet sitting thing? I think my biggest concern was probably having some crazy dog that bites me. Yeah, that's a concern. Yes, people um, can say like, oh, well, you interview, you don't have to worry about that. No, that was like the most far-fetched concern, but it was a concern. When I was, this has been blocked out of my mind, but I think when I was like 17, 18 years old, I was then somewhere in San Diego. Where was I at? Was I in San Diego? Yeah, I was in San Diego. Yeah, and I was visiting a friend, and I think it was a Rottweiler. The dog, thank goodness, it was nothing. I was fine, but it happened so fast. Very nice dog. The dog bit me in my face, and it's like it was just the dog snapped at me and caught the tooth. So I have like a little scar right here, and everything was fine. I'm okay, but I didn't even think about that. And I don't think it was anything that I have like some triggering PTSD from, but yeah, when I started pet sitting, I was like, that would be the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario would be, and I've seen this happen with a friend of mine, who, if the dogs are going at each other, that you reach in and try to separate them, and then I get bit. I just had one of my life sisters, one of my best friends, that happened to her last year. She had her two dogs. She was fostering another dog, and that they found, and yeah, she reached in to separate them, and the dog bit her hand. I mean, it wasn't anything that, she had to go to the hospital and everything. She got some antibiotics and she was fine. But yeah, that scares me because that kind of freaked me out. Yeah, what are some, I guess if you've pet sit before, what were some of your concerns? I would love to know. What were maybe some of your, like, the big fears that might keep you from pet sitting, or something that you just kind of have been afraid to consider when you first started pet sitting? I would love to know. So, lifestyle. How do I decide where to sit? So, my pet sits, for the most part, when I first started, because I'm from Texas, my home city is Houston, and I was living in Dallas when I decided to do all this. Although I think, no, I've had a few pet sits in Dallas. So for the most part, my pet sits consisted between, again, Austin, Houston, Dallas. I'm just not I don't get down with San Antonio. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I'm big city. I don't want to go to any small towns. Nope. I'm not doing that. I'm a big city person all the way. And for some people, your sweet spot might be the small mountainous town, someplace with, where it's secluded. That is not me. Nope. But I kind of selected initially based on where I wanted to go. And when I was in Texas, if I, could get a sit in Austin, that was, a couple of weeks, because I loved Austin, that's great. So I just kind of kept it triangulated there. But then, yes, I wanted to go visit my daughter that lives in California, my Cali baby. So I found a pet sit in San Diego. And I think I was there, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Yeah, and it was really great. And I got to hang out, and I told the pet owner, the homeowner, that, my daughter lives here in San Diego. And she was like, oh, she can come over and hang out anytime, spend the night. So it was clear communication. I have family that's in North Carolina. I love my family dearly. I also like to either just get a hotel, or now, I found a pet sit, so that we were together and we saw each other, but I still had my own space that, we could enjoy. For the pet sit in North Carolina, told the pet owner that my sister lived close by, like was really close by. And she said, and they had a pool. The owner had a pool, and said, you can invite them over to enjoy the pool. Again, got clear, they understood who was in town and they gave me permission. I would never invite anyone over to the pet homeowner's home without major heads up. I wouldn't just be like, having people spend the night. That's just a big no. Get that full conversation and clarity when you're actually doing the video conference to interview each other. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, and I've also, some of you know, when I had an airline ticket that needed to be used to Morocco, and I couldn't go to an event that was in Morocco, I looked on Trusted House Sitters and I found a pet sit in Morocco. So yeah, and it was in Rabat, Morocco. Had never heard of it, but I went and I had a wonderful. It was a different experience, but I had a wonderful keeping my mind open. So how I choose to where to sit is based on where I want to go. What I will not do around this world is like go. I would never go. I don't think I've done this. Is to find a pet sit just because it's somewhere, but it's not any place that I really wanted to experience or explore. Yeah. No, like I'm not a mountain person. So just because it's a wonderful, beautiful view, and trust me, I get that you can be very, very tempted to go for a pet sit because of a pretty picture view. Oh, yes. I can't do that. I have to have some kind of urge to experience the city itself and or experience the surroundings itself. So yeah, so I'm not gonna spend some crazy amount on some airfare just to do a pet sit. There has to be a rhyme. There has to be rhyme and reason to it. Has to be, absolutely. Living rent free. So when I decided to do this full time with Trusted House Sitters, you don't get paid. You're not being paid to do the pet sits. And I do like the platform Rover. Rover is great if you're a pet sitter or a house sitter, whatever that is in one location. In that case, Rover is great because you can set your pricing and say like, hey, like now that I'm here in Zaragoza and this is where I live, if I wanted to actually start pet sitting on Rover and get paid, yeah, they have Rover here in Spain. So that would be an option for me because I'm not traveling like I used to. So yeah, it's great. And I would charge. I would not want to do Trusted House Sitters exchange bartering pet sitting in Zaragoza where I live because I got a nice comfortable 2-bedroom right here. I don't want to go to your house in Zaragoza. No. When I was staying with my daughter before I got my apartment here, yes, I would still pet sit. I did a pet sit here in Zaragoza because I wanted to get away, and give my daughter and her family some time to themselves. So just to get out of their face and give them their, private family time, I would still do pet sits around for, I did one in Zaragoza and then I did one in Barcelona and a couple in Madrid. And that at that time, it was just to give myself space and give them space. But overall, pet sitting can be very lucrative if you know how to manage the logistics, and it could be a full business if you are in one spot. Now, there are some people, I believe, the Gallivanting Grandma, she has it set up where she can go. She has her clients that actually reach out to her, and she has specific clients. I don't know how her setup works, but they want her and they will pay her. So there are ways to actually monetize your pet sitting services or house sitting services. If you've known people and they've worked with you for a while and you have your platform set up that way. But for the most part, from what I understand, the most lucrative or the best pet sitting services that one does is usually like in a particular area. Again, unless you have just become, like Gallivanting Grandmas, yeah, she has people like demanding her presence. And like, I don't know if Stephanie Perry, has a part of hers when she's in the States that she gets paid because she's so well known. I mean, she was an ambassador for Trusted House Sitters. So That's a little bit different. But yeah, that's how I, just living rent free beforehand for that year and a half. Yeah, just being very good at logistics, really sitting down and understand and looking at your calendar to know if I'm going to be in Austin, and I already have secured a pet sit for 2 weeks, then I might be able to get a pet sit on the front end or the back end during that time in the same area to make the stay in Austin longer. And what was that? Oh, I was in San Miguel when I was in San Miguel, because I was in Mexico for 2 months, and on my last leg, I did a pet sit in San Miguel de Allende, and there was a young lady that I met that she started out with doing I think a month-long pet sit in San Miguel, and I think for like a good 5 or 6 months, that's all she was doing, just in San Miguel de Allende. She was literally just pet sitting in that town. I mean, yeah, in the city of San Miguel de Allende. That's it. And then in between, I think she said she had some downtime, and she has a friend there that, she would just go and stay with if there was some downtime. So I don't know, I don't think, because legally, for legalities, I'm not going to speak on whether or not that person was paid, because I don't know. But as far as full-time, not having to pay rent for 5 or 6 months, because she was in San Miguel and she had built up her reputation of being known via trusted house sitters as a pet sitter there. No rent at all. Yes, it felt great to not be paying $1,700 a month in rent. It felt great to be putting that money away. I had a monthly budget of $500 a month when I was, pet sitting full time. But just in case of the downtime, I had a budget of $500 a month that I kind of put aside to say, like, if I have to get an Airbnb in between pet sits, if I have to get a hotel in between pet sits, I have those funds, and that was my budget. Now, I used that money. I think it took, I was 8 months in so that was from, I started pet sitting full time February. Yeah. And my first time that I actually used it, I think it was when I got back from Spain. So that was like maybe June that I ended up using that monthly budget, and I complained. I complained to myself. It wasn't like, anybody was there. I was just like, I want to spend this money. I think the Airbnb that I ended up getting was like, I don't know, it was maybe 200. I had gone months without paying anything at all. But the first time that I actually had to pay something out of pocket, I had attitude, even though I had budgeted for this experience. For this possibility, I had attitude because I didn't want to spend that money because I had gotten spoiled. Yes. But yeah, full time. It is possible if you're good at really sitting down and looking at the logistics and understanding your why you want to go to whatever city, what you're open to experiencing, either within the home or within the city, within the surroundings. Make sure that you have done a self-evaluation of yourself to understand what you need and want and expect. So that way, if you have these things in place, if you already have your list of what you need to do this full time and be comfortable, then you will not get caught up in an opportunity that does not suit your needs. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. Let's see. How do you manage stress while constantly moving between assignments? You know what? I think there was one time where I definitely felt the stress, and I learned my lesson. Again, this was early on. I had 3 pet sits, and I had to move about. I had 3 pet sits in 3 different cities. Austin, it started out in Houston, then oh wow. So I had to drive from Houston to Austin. And then from there, so I was in Austin for like, I think a week. And then I had a pet sit that started in Dallas. So I drove there. It was gorgeous high rise. Oh, that place was so nice. And I thought it was just for 24 hours, but the only reason that I did it for 24 hours is like a 1-day sit or 2-day sit was because when I came back from Spain, I was supposed to be staying with that same couple at their house for like a week and a half upon returning from Spain. Anyways, so I left Dallas and then I drove to Houston. So it was like from Austin to Dallas, Dallas to back to Houston for a pet sit. And that was too much. It was too stressful. So after that, I never accepted a pet sit again that was shorter than, I think nothing shorter than 3 days. I was like, I'm not doing another 1 or 2 day pet sit. I think after that, I don't think I accepted anything that was less than 3 or 4 days because I was like, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be city hopping and driving around like that. It was too much. That was stressful. But other than that, the only time I felt like I was stressed and I didn't know it was when I actually moved here to Spain. And well, I'm sure there was other times, but when I came here to Spain and when I finally got this apartment and I sat down and I didn't go anywhere, do anything for like probably like a month and a half, 2 months, I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I'm good. Yeah. I just really, it really wasn't that long, but really literally I was on my couch, just super chilling for like the first, I want to say almost 2 months after moving in here. And I just found so much peace with that because I didn't realize I was actually tired of bopping around. I was tired of living out of my suitcase. So yeah, that can be challenging, overwhelming. I was over it. I was like, ugh, okay. So yeah, there's not a, I guess it all depends on the mood. The managing pet sitting full time. I guess because if I was in the thick of it, I was like, well, this is what you chose, girl, go with it. Okay. Now, I will say that, yes, you know what, as I think about it, there were definitely times in between pet sits that I really enjoyed the chill. So whenever I did have some downtime, I think about when like I would stay with my bestie or, at my daughter's or whatever, and just to be like, but then, I'd be relaxing and then I'd be like, oh, you got to take the dog out. It's like, no, you don't. There's no dog here. Okay. There's no kitty litter to be changed. Okay. So yeah, that if your mind is constantly on pet sitting, when you do have downtime, you're dreaming of pet sitting. You're dreaming of what you got to do next. You're dreaming that, you have to make sure that you have the baggies to go pick up the poop, all that stuff. So yeah. That is something. Let's see. I'm just going to go over here to, here we go. I'm just going to go over here to what people, I just realized that this whole time, okay, I just realized that the banner was still on here. So let me go ahead. Yeah, I had my questions in front. So that's why. And okay, the luxury bucket list says, yes, I've used Rover a lot. I've joined house sitters and we'll use them once we get settled to save money. Yeah. Yeah. There's some advantages to both platforms. I've found, trusted house sitters as far as my travel. I know that I want to go in Spain. I want to go down to Valencia and then Malaga and maybe Sevilla. And I'm hoping, like in May, I want to do this. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to find some pet sits along there to offset the cost. So yeah. So some of the challenges of pet sittings. Have you ever had a pet sitting experience go wrong? Of course. Yes. Absolutely. I have had the dog. And again, you can go back to the logistics of pet sitting and you will actually, let me see if I can find this one. The one particular one that in the playlist, there's something that says I think the 5 craziest pet sitting experiences that I've had. I have been I was in Puerto Vallarta and couldn't get into the house. Couldn't get the key out of the lockbox. I have been locked out of the house by a dog that locked me out. I have had a dog that would not let me in to the house, and the owner was just like, "Oh, you just have to assert yourself and walk in." And I said, "No, I'm not going to mess around and find out if this dog is going to bite me or not." Yeah, that was an issue. I had one where I accidentally misunderstood the time that I was supposed to leave, and I left. I was in Dallas, and I left like about 8 hours before they were supposed to come back, and I didn't realize. I thought they were coming back at 3, so I left at about 1. And whenever I leave, I send like a little video, like, "Hey, here's what your house looks like. Here's what your pets look like. Everybody's happy. It was nice working with you. Goodbye." Yeah, and when I sent the video saying, "I'm checking out, I'm leaving," I did not hear back from them, and I was halfway to Houston. And when I found out that, she was like, "I'm so upset and disappointed right now." And I was like, "What happened?" And I found out that no, I was actually supposed to wait until like 6 or 7 before I left. And I didn't know that. So, I did let the lady know, let the owner know. I was like, "I sent you a video when I was leaving. I wish you would have said something to me then, so I could have stopped and went right back up." I mean, I literally, when I sent the message to her, I was still at the property. I was still at their home. So I hadn't left yet. So had she actually responded at that time, I would have stopped everything, turned around and been like, "Oh, I am not going anywhere yet." So yeah, I've had some things go wrong. There has been nothing that was not resolved, or we just both had to get over it. But overall, I also had the one where the lady had the wall of masks from all over the world that completely freaked me out, and I didn't understand it, because in the pictures didn't do it justice. So it was like when I got there, it was just like this huge wall of masks that completely really scared the hell out of me. But yeah, I had to suck it up. And yeah. So yeah, I've had some things go. I've had some concerning things happen, and I've had some things go very, very wrong. But again, still, they got worked out in the end. If you're one that is like, oh, you see something that goes wrong, and then it's like all hell is just like the world is just ended and there's no resolving at all, then probably pet sitting or house sitting is not going to be for you, because you need to be able to, as a pet sitter, home sitter, you have to be a resolution type of person that sees the problem, identifies it, and looks for solutions. If that is not in your DNA, in your personality, you are not going to have a good time pet sitting, because nothing is guaranteed. And I think D from H&D Abroad and I just had this whole conversation about sometimes you have no control. Sometimes things just happen. So if you're the type of person that's like thinks that the world is ending if something happens, then maybe you should not be managing somebody else's home and managing their dogs if they get sick. I've had dogs that have the first dog that I pet sit had some kind of like I forgot what it's, pancreatitis, and could not hold, had a very special diet. And this was a huge dog. It was a boxer, was a huge boxer. And that dog would get sick. And a couple of times it got concerning, and I did have to reach out to the owners and make them aware. But the dog would get sick, and being such a big dog, when that dog got sick, the dog got sick. And I had to clean it up. Yeah, you can't be like gross. I was like, "Oh, I can't touch that. Oh, no, it's horrible. Ugh." Yeah, you got to clean it up. You got to do things. I had the luxury of giving insulin shots to a dog. Yeah, stabbed myself in the finger with the first time. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, but yeah, I pricked myself with that needle. Yeah, I never made that mistake again. Yeah, it's been an experience. It's been a journey. Let's see. What else? Oh, and that actually comes down to some the question I have here is like, how do you handle pets with special needs? So again, you ask. It is very, very important that when you are doing your initial interview with, so say that you have submitted, and for the sake of this conversation, we're going to just be talking about, say, trusted house sitters right now. But say that you done the application and the pet owner wants to actually meet with you, so you want to do a video chat. It is very important that this is not just a one-sided conversation with the owner, with the pet owner or homeowner, asking all the questions and interviewing you like your life depended on it. Like, you know, like you need them more than they need you. That's not what should be happening during an interview process with a prospective pet sit. Okay, so during that time, I have a whole questionnaire. I have questions that I ask, and I have a checklist of things that I ask. And one of them is any special needs, any dietary needs, how are their bathroom habits? Do they have upset tummies? What kind of foods do they eat? All these things you have to ask. And I've had the situation where, like I said, the first pet sit, the dog had pancreatitis. Didn't know what that would look like, but they gave me a really good outline. And so, you know, and the dog was older. The dog was older. I think the dog was like 11. I don't like taking care of older dogs either. That's just, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. I'm like, please don't let this dog croak while their parents are out of the country or wherever they are. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I found out about the one dog that has diabetes, and I have to give the insulin shots. And I let them know I've never done this before, and they were like, "It's very easy." And so I went and did the pre-check-in the day before, and they showed me exactly how to do the insulin. And the dog was like so not concerned at all. And then I also went on YouTube and like looked, and I was like, okay. And then the first time I did it, the first time I did it, I did great. And then the second time, I literally pricked myself, and it hadn't got to the dog yet. And you know, I didn't inject any insulin, but it still scared the hell out of me for a second. And I told the owners, and they were like, "Oh my goodness!" And they were like ready to send 911 and all. I was like, "I'm fine, okay," you know. But so yeah, I have now. Will I do another special needs where I have to do injections? That's not, I don't aim for that. I really don't. I don't have an urge to do that again. I was blessed with the experience. I'm glad that I know how. I don't want to do that regularly because I don't want to mess around and find out that some other dog will be like, "What are you doing?" and go, "Rah," and, you know, just go dog on me. I don't know. Let's see here. What's the most unusual pet that you've cared for? The snake. But I know y'all are like, yeah. Okay. The snake. Okay, so one pet that I was supposed to do, it was like a bigger snake, but that sit had to cancel, and that was fine. And they were like, you really don't have to. I think I was supposed to give it dead mice. Okay. I was like, I can do this. They canceled, no big deal. But I did have a house of 3 dogs, 2 cats, 3 hermit crabs. How can you tell if a hermit crab is alive? I couldn't because they never moved, but I put food out there all the time. And then there was a snake, but they fed the snake before they left, and they were just gone for a week. So, you know, the snake was snaking by itself. Yeah, but you know, the snake was friendly. Um, the snake, whenever I would come in, you know, and I made sure they were like, the snake is sealed up, and you know, I think I put some extra books on top. The snake was like maybe this big, but still, it was a snake. So yeah, but I didn't have to do anything with the snake. But the snake, whenever I would come into the room, because the snake was in the room where the cat stuff was, and so when I would come in, the snake would kind of peep out like, "Hey," you know. So yeah, that was interesting. The most I don't know if it's unusual, was the best one. It was the best one was when I pet sit the turtles. It was 2 turtles and a dog and a cat. And yeah, yeah, that was really, really cool. Those 2 turtles had the biggest, coolest personalities, and I loved every minute of that pet sit, besides when the dog stole my pack of bacon and ate it. And yeah, that was, yeah. But it was nice because when I told the owners what happened, they were like, "We can reimburse you," because it was some HEB thick cut bacon too that I had just cooked the whole pack. Yeah. So, but yeah, they offered to reimburse me and get me some more bacon, so that was very nice of them. How do you ensure your safety as a solo traveler pet sitter? Well, I mean, I do okay. So when I'm pet sitting one, when I was in Texas, I brought my gun with me. I had a gun, and yeah, I was a gun owner, and yeah, I was driving around Texas. Yeah. So that never had, I had it for my safety. But also, I would do my due diligence. I would ask the neighbors, excuse me, I would ask the owners, do your neighbors know I'm going to be there? Yeah, I need to know, like, who of your neighbors do I need to be concerned about? I need to know if Marsha's across the street gonna freak out if she sees me walking around, and looking too homely there. I have always asked that question, and I've asked them who's the 911 in the neighborhood that I need to call in case of emergency or in case I get somebody that's ignorant. Yeah. Overall, I have not. I mean, you get the codes, you get access codes and things like that. I haven't had anything. I ain't had nothing pop off where I had to, cops were called or anything like that. So I'm sure that there have been somebody's had situations that were not pleasant. My safety in the home has not been an issue. It has not been an issue. I'll just share something funny though, because one of the pet sits that I did, the nephew came a day early, not realizing that I was still in the home, and knocked on the door. When he saw, I guess my car was still in the driveway, so he knocked on the door, and I wasn't expecting anybody, and the dogs were barking, so I came up with some bass in my voice. I'm like, "Who is it?" So I got my man voice on. And yeah, he kind of like, was like, "I'm here for," and I'm like, "No, I'm still here." I didn't open the door or anything. I was like, "I'm still here." And then I let the owner know, like, "Hey, your nephew just came, but I didn't open the door or anything because I didn't know that your nephew was coming. And I'm sure you're telling the truth, but I don't want to find out anything else." So other than that, yeah, I haven't really had any. I'm trying to think. I haven't been in a situation where I felt like there was any great concern, but yeah. And yeah, over here in Europe, I really haven't had any concerns at all. And in Mexico, yeah, it was like, because I would walk around, yeah, because when I was in Mexico in Puerto Vallarta, we were mountainside, and I'd have to go take these dogs out at night along this mountainside because the condo was on the mountain, like facing the peninsula. It was beautiful, but yeah, I felt completely safe. So there was nothing that made me run or felt like I needed to call 911 or whatever, 112, which is here. So yeah, hope that answers. So the perks. Uh, oh, okay. Oh, I'm just looking at this. My luxury bucket list says we had to give our Yorkie injections before he passed. I can't do that for a pet sit. Yeah, there's some things that I think that I will definitely not do again. And some things, it's like until you're in it, you're like, I guess, but some things are just a hard no. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to do injections again. But and even though I had, like, for that week, I had to give him twice a day. Every time I still would be like, okay, and it's done. And the dog was not bothered at all. At all. Okay. The dog's like, "You finished? Okay, let's go." Uh, oh, yes. Preach, reset with Celeste. Yes. Every interview is a two-way interaction. Please know this. Please, if you have a person that the homeowner or vice versa that's interviewing you, that their persona, their attitude, the way that the vibe that you're feeling is like they're up here and you're down here, and you drop it. Nope, hell no. I've told this story before. I did this in my first pet sit in Madrid. My first pet sit in Madrid, and I own this, my mistake. Did not look at the because in trusted house sitters, everybody they send you the owners send you a guide, like an outline of the house duties, what's needed in the house, how everything works, how if like any the instructions for the pets, all their care, all that. And in the outline for the first pet sit that I did in Madrid, I didn't look at the guide until like I think 2 days before. And I had secured the pet sit like I think like a month or so or month and a half earlier. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I did not look at that guide. And then and the thing was, the husband interviewed me, and he was very, very nice, very, very nice. I did not speak to the wife. Had I interviewed with the wife, I probably would have canceled right away, but I did not. And I spoke with the husband, and then I looked at the guide 2 days before, and that's when I saw this whole outline. And I remember like of what the expectation was. And I said to my daughter, I don't think this is gonna go well. I was like, ooh, this ain't gonna go well. And I was right. And I got a bad review. Now, did that hurt me? No, because I got this bad review of like my 40-something pet sits that I've done. It's whatever. But had I actually done my due diligence and caught the vibe from the wife, I would have canceled. I would have been like, well, I never would have like signed up or agreed to the sit in the first place. So all that is, the interview is a two-way interaction. It is not that that you're so desperate to keep their house or stay at their house or trying to find a home. That is not the case. You're on the same level, okay? And it should be respectful on the same level. Okay, you asked your questions, things that you need to know about, things that are going to make sure that you are taking care of their home and their pets the way that they would like, and also making sure that their house is clean. I had, okay, back in Texas, pet sit that I turned down was a gentleman that reached out to me, and I think this was actually through Rover. Yeah, because I did have a profile on Rover when I was pet sitting around Texas. He reached out to me and he was like, so I actually have to wash my sheets before you come? No, goodbye. Goodbye. Like, who the hell do you think you are that you want to invite anybody to your house and not have your sheets clean? And the fact that you even had to verbalize it, that you felt comfortable verbalizing. Okay, yeah, no. He says, listen, a couple of times I didn't get the welcome guide until I arrived for a house sit. They left a printout. Okay, yeah. Luckily, both were cool. Yes. So, yes, understand that also. Not sometimes I've heard that some homeowners or the pet owners, they're like, it's too hard to navigate the platform and trusted house sitters to fill out the guide. It's a lot of, I guess different prompts or whatever. And they're just like, girl, I have the information. So they'll either email me their own guide, or they will say like, I have the print out here. It's on but I have to get that information beforehand. I have to get that before I arrive. I still need to see some kind of guide, or let me know where it is. And actually, I don't want just a printout that's on the table. If you have your own printout of the guide, then you need to email that to me, because I don't want to get to your house and then find out that there's something janky. Like I had one pet sit where, actually it was the one where the pet sit in Madrid, where the lady, there was something wrong with their freezer and it didn't want to close because it kept getting iced over. And she was upset with me because I didn't know how to fix that. Well, you should have let me know that this was an issue beforehand. The freezer was not just closing because it kept getting iced over. So then she was mad because I couldn't figure out how to do that. That's not my problem. I would expect that if I'm in your home, that your freezer closes correctly. Okay. And if it doesn't, then you should let me know. Yeah. So, okay, so let's see here. I wanted to get back on. I have a few more. You know, I always try to go just an hour and 15 minutes. We might go over by a couple of extra minutes, but I think this is good information. So, anyways, how do you balance pet sitting with exploring new cities? So that's one of the things that I do ask the pet or the homeowners about. Um, and also when I'm looking at logistically, how close is the pet sit to the nearest thing? Now, when I was in Texas and I had my car, yes, I would, if I wanted to go someplace like in Austin, I like to go downtown. I might take an Uber to downtown Austin because I love downtown Austin. If I was in Dallas or someplace in Dallas, then I would, maybe drive into another area to go meet friends for lunch or dinner or what have you. I am going to ask the owner how long can their pets be alone. Now, how long does can their pets be alone does not mean that you should be able to leave at 9 and come back at 9 the next day. That's not what that means. Please don't do that. Please don't. Okay. But I also am not one that's going to like if your pet needs to be taken out every 2 hours, that's not the pet sit for me. That is not the sit for me because I don't want to have to worry about every 2 hours. I can't go do anything. I literally saw I think it was a pet sit here in Zaragoza, as a matter of fact, where they said, it was either Zaragoza or Madrid. The listing literally said that they cannot be left alone ever. Who is going? You need somebody. You need to be paying somebody. You need to be paying somebody. They're like, literally it says that they cannot. So basically you're coming to their house and you cannot do anything because the pet has the separation anxiety. That's something special. That's some very specialized needs that I cannot accommodate. I can't. I have pets in Lisbon just this past. I talked about this when I talked about I have my visit to Lisbon vlog up in my live history, but the pet sit that I was on in Lisbon, I think that was my last pet sit that I've been on. Yeah. Anyways, I didn't know. She said there's little pee pads. There's 2 dogs and a cat. Little pee pads in the bathroom for the little dog that's a little bit older. And I said, okay. No, there was one bathroom and the dog peed everywhere. It wasn't just on, the dog wasn't just peeing on the pee pad. The dog was peeing everywhere. I don't care if I did, like, if it was like I went out to dinner and came back overnight, whatever, the dog was peeing everywhere. So it was not easy for me to just get up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. No, you can't do that. If there's pee everywhere, like in the bathroom, the dog would only pee in the bathroom. But if I need to go to the restroom in the middle of the night, and I don't know where to step because your dog is peed all in the bathroom, not just on the pee pad, that's an issue. Yeah, that was challenging for me. I mean, I figured it out. I mopped like twice a day, cleaned up, sprayed down, got some extra cleaning supplies because I was like those eco cleaning supplies when it comes to like that much stuff in the bathroom. I went and got my own cleaning supplies. I needed to get some like real bleach and I needed to clean that down before I could take a shower. Yeah. So all that, I know I just jumped, but y'all know me, I jump all over the place sometimes. So squirrel. Anyways, but during that time also, I did get to go out and enjoy. So me being on a pet sit, part of my itinerary and logistics of the pet sit is making sure that I'm able to go out and enjoy and explore the city, whether I was back in Houston in my own hometown or wherever I am. When I was in Morocco, pet sit, I went on a food tour, but I made sure that I took the dog out for nice walks, that we had good playtime, that the pet was very well cared for. And then I was out, and it just varies. The most that I might be gone, well, let's see. I think on one of my sits, I mean, it just varies, but I'm trying to think. 6 hours? I might be gone for 6 hours. Some people might be gone longer. Some people, oh no, you know what? I take that back, because when I was in Puerto Vallarta, I did 2 day trips. One was to the oh, I did 2 day trips. I can't remember the names of it, but I was gone for the day. But I did speak to the homeowner and let them know, like, hey, or the pet owner. I was like, hey, this is where I'm planning on going for the day, and they were like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, they knew I was going to be doing things. They were not expecting me to just be in the house and not going and exploring and enjoying. So, yeah, but I went on 2 day excursions while I was in Puerto Vallarta. That was really wonderful. So I ended up leaving at like 7 in the morning, and then I didn't get back until like 5 or 6 in the evening. And they were fine, and as soon as I got back, I took them back outside and they were great. So yeah, I'm not going to go to a city and not explore the city. Wherever I am, I'm going to go someplace. I'm not just going to be sitting up. Now, hear me out. When I was actually doing the pet sitting, especially, full time, because that's, it was like I was a full time pet sitter. This is how I live. I definitely went to the homes, and I was like, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I went to the grocery store, got what I needed, and I was laid up on the couch with the dogs or the cats, whoever, just living my best life, watching some kind of random show, just binging some show. Yeah, absolutely. It all depends on your needs. Some people, I know that there are some people that literally, for them, pet sitting can be like a staycation. Like they just want to get away from whatever their home. They just want to have their staycation. Maybe they can't do like a big fancy hotel. Maybe they found a pet sit in their, home city or in the same region somewhere where it's just a really, really nice house and they just have to take care of. D from H&D Abroad. She doesn't take care of pets. She only house sits and stays at some fascinating, beautiful homes. Yes. Okay. I've been very lucky to stay at some beautiful homes, and I'm just walking around like, this is how I want to live. Yes. Yes. And I like to cook. Nice, big, beautiful kitchen. Love it. Love it. Good cookware. Oh my gosh. I get excited. It's like, and somebody said, did you ever miss having your own space? And these are just questions, by the way. These are some questions that some people just have asked me over time. And so I kind of brought it all together. So, do you ever miss having your own space? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I was in it for the long haul, but absolutely, I miss having my own space. So then, yes, when I did have my downtime, or like a really, really easy pet, like, like a pet that where there's already a backyard and they're like, you don't even have to walk them, just open the door, let them out. Baby, yes, loved it. Absolutely. But having my own space, I missed it somewhat. And then also, I appreciated the situation that I was blessed to experience. Like I said, when I moved here into my own apartment here in Spain, yes, didn't move, laid on my couch. My daughter was like, you need to get out and socialize. Like, girl, if you know me, if you guys know me here in Zaragoza, I do things. I get out. I find community. I started a dinner, eating out group here in Zaragoza via Internations, and we meet like twice a month to go out to nice restaurants or go someplace for lunch. Yeah, I find community. I will go wherever. But at that time, when I first got my apartment, I was ready to sit still and not talk to anybody and leave me alone. I'm fine. Yes. But yeah. So it all depends. You can make pet sitting whatever you want it to be. If you are house sitting, whatever, because there are some places again where they don't even have pets. They just have their home. But you can make it the experience that you want. Just know, create that list so you understand what your wants and needs are. Okay. So let's see. I think I'm trying to see if there's any other questions or any other insight. I know there was something I was going to say and I forgot. How much money have you saved since living rent free? Okay, so well, to go from paying $1,700 a month, well, and again, actually, when I think about the internet, because I didn't have to pay for internet, somebody else's internet, didn't have to worry about electricity. I don't know how much electricity can be. You know, yeah, I was saving money. Now, eating out, I was eating out before I was really eating out after. You know, when I had my own place, I still like to go out because I was working from home. So yeah, I eating out food is a cost. Going out is a cost, and that I have accepted as part of my life. Period. I like to go out to eat. I like to, you know, after a day of working, especially when I was back in the States, I like to go to a nice happy hour. Yes, and sit at the bar and have me a cocktail and have a little appetizer. That's my jam. I like to go out to try to find different things to do in whatever city I'm in, find the community of other women, other Black women, other people, other singles, whatever it is. I'm going to go. So if they're saying like we're having a get together at this and listening to live music in a small venue, I'm going to try to make it. So yes. But overall, was I saving good money? Yes, absolutely. And now, of course, that I am here in Spain and don't have a car, overall, yeah, you're taking away, yeah, I'm saving money. Yes. And you have to be, and also I'm going to just, my suggestion is if you're saving money, save your money or use it wisely. Sometimes people, like when you pay off your car and then you're like, oh, I've got money to blow. I would just encourage you, don't do that. Use that savings wisely. Okay. We don't, I'm guilty. Don't get me wrong. I'm not acting like I socked all that money away. That, no. Okay. But I did acknowledge and use some of that savings I use some of that very wisely. I'll just say that. But yeah, recognize the opportunity and do something good with that money instead of just blowing it. I mean, enjoy your life, you know, do what you want to do. Enjoy the freedom of being in other places and living wherever, whether you're traveling cross country, whether you're traveling just in your state or in your city and pet sitting, or whether you want to go and take the show international. That's up to you. But if there's savings in there, utilize them. One thing that I have noticed sometimes, so I will say, if you're going to be pet sitting and you're saving money by not having to pay rent, please don't spend that money on airfare. Don't spend your monthly money that you're saving on rent or mortgage or whatever on airfare to get to a pet sit. That don't make no sense. You're not saving anything. There's no, I don't see the advantage. I'll say that. I don't see the advantage of it to actually fly someplace. You're not saving any money just to pet sit. There has to be a rhyme or reason why you're going to that place. Let's see here. Some questions. Thank you. How do you find just house sits on the Trusted House Sitters platform? Yeah. You have to be diligent. Again, there's a couple of people on Trusted House Sitters that we know, like Dee from HD Abroad. She does not, for the most part, do any pet sits, but you have to be diligent because those sits go fast very quickly. Yeah, they go really quickly. So you have to have a system set up. I think it was Janae, the luxury vagabond, actually said what she does is you have your notices, have your parameters set up. You can like save a certain like search so that you'll get notifications for these particular sits, maybe that don't have any pets. You can set up the parameters and then you'll get an alert. What the luxury vagabond would do was she would have like a little template. So whenever she would get a notice, she would immediately just snatch that, copy that template and paste it. And it was just like, hey, I'm very interested in this sit, but I'm in I'm in a meeting right now. I'm screwing this up. It was something very simple. I'm very interested in this sit. I am in a meeting, but I will reach out to you with the full application letter in a bit. And that way, at least you've been submitted. And then you just come back like whenever you get home or whatever you have a chance, like do it. You know, I would still try to do it within the hour, but at least you're securing your hold spot right now. So unless the homeowner actually just denies you right off the bat, then at least you have like an hour or two to get back to your place and then send out an actual letter of interest to the homeowner or the pet owner or homeowner in this case. Okay, so that's how you kind of hold the spot right away, but you have to be diligent because again, they go quick. They go real quick. Okay. Let's see here. Cece asks, hi. Hi, Cece. How you doing, girl? Where do you stay between sits? Well, what I was saying before is that when I was in the States, when I was in Texas and pet sitting, I would stay with either my oldest daughter or I would stay with one of my besties who just, they both were like, if you need a place to stay, you got a place to stay. So that's how I would do it then before when I didn't have an apartment at all. And also budget for your own lodging. So I had like a $500 a month budget that I just had set aside. And I was like, okay, if I had to use it to get an Airbnb in between or a hotel if necessary in between pet sits, I had the funds. I mean, it wasn't like I put the money really aside because it was just like if I needed to use my credit card and stuff, but I had that expenditure already built into my budget. And so that's what I would do. And that's how I would cover. And, as I said before, I think I went like maybe, I want to say 5 months before I actually had to get an Airbnb or something like that for the first time. And I was like, oh, I didn't like that feeling. I hadn't spent any money on rent or anything for like 5 months and I was still complaining. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay. It's that Olayinka says she's on a pet sit right now. But where you at? Where you at? I mean, you can be as broad as you want to be, but yay. Yes, I'm looking forward to doing this pet sit in Madrid. Yes. And I've already let my friends in Milan and Madrid know, some people that I know. I'm like, hey, I'll be in Madrid. We're hanging out. Y'all know this, right? So yes. Let's see here. What else do we have? She says, how do you just find, we already got that one. Duh. Anyways. Hey, Kyoka, how you doing, love? It's good to see you. How far advanced do you plan your sits? Okay, so I when I was doing it full time, I would sit down probably once I was getting notifications like at least twice a month. I would sit down and like look at my calendar and to be like, okay. So I would have my pet sits kind of scaled up through like I'd say up to 2 months in advance. I mean, there were some that were like further down the road, but I would try to keep it at the 2 month mark unless, like if I had somebody that was like, yes, in Austin, we need you for, can you come and stay for like 2 weeks or whatever? I might have something maybe 3 months in advance. But for the most part, the reason why I myself was not finding it good to plan like 6 months in advance necessarily is because things change so quick. It just changes. There was a pet sit that I had signed up for. It was in North Carolina. It was going to be like during the holidays of 2023. And because of where they were located, they had put it out there a year in advance. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go to North Carolina for the holidays. And I accepted and they were so thankful. And then I think I was going back to Spain. Where was I at? No, I wasn't going back to Spain. There was something else that was going on, but I was just like, nope. I got a pet sit in freaking Mexico. Yeah. I was like, where's Mexico? Yeah. And plus also the area where it was in North Carolina, it was like an hour from where my family was in some like really small town. And I was like, I don't want to be a Black woman in a small town. Yeah, no. So that's why I tend to not, or I try to avoid anything that's more than 3 months in advance. Now, am I looking right now? Yeah, I'm looking right now for pet sits, along the coast of Spain right now because I know I want to go to, I want to do some traveling along the coast of Spain. So yeah, I am keeping my eye out for something. And I know I'm not going to just accept anything. So I'm keeping my eye out for the possibility. But yeah, even with me wanting to go to Portugal in October when they have the meetup, I'm going to be looking, but I'll keep my eye out. That's a exception, but overall, I don't go more than 3 months. I don't go for 3 months when I was doing it full time. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, but situations, and I'll say this for everything that I've done or I haven't done, there's always exceptions. Definitely. So I can say, for the most part, what I won't do, there might be a situation where I do make that exception. One thing that I don't do anymore, that I was doing before, was that I no longer, if a dog has any kind of like aggression on a leash towards other people, I can't do it anymore because I almost dislocated my shoulder. I had two dogs at two different times. Like I think they were back to back. One was in California and one was in Houston. I finished the pet sit in California, then I came and had a pet sit in Houston, and both dogs were leash aggressive. And yeah, my elbow was messed up for a while. It was bad. And so now I no longer, that's a question that I ask when I interview a pet owner. I ask them about how their dogs are on leashes with other people, towards other dogs, because I cannot afford to get snatched up anymore. Yeah, it was horrible. So yeah. Okay. Sites, Nomad. Okay. I'm looking because I'm always curious. Nomader, I've never heard of that one. And House Care are two house sitting sites, but I've only used Trusted House Sitters. I've never heard of those. I know that there are a lot of other sites out there. Trusted House Sitters is just what, once I know what's working for me, that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. Okay. So I don't have any experience with these other ones. Oh yeah, by the way, a couple of things. Let me go ahead and just put that out here. She says, let's see, I'm house sitting full time now. Oh, okay. And book 2 months in advance. Okay. So yes, everybody does things their own way. Yeah, 2 months in advance. That seems to be about the good range. Because again, outside of that, things happen, and somebody can cancel on you anytime, but things happen. Yeah. Another funny story. Okay. And I've shared this before, is right before I left to come, when I was getting ready to move, it was maybe 3 weeks before I was about to move here to Spain. I decided to go to Austin to get my stuff apostilled, my documents apostilled. And so I found a pet sit in Austin. And the homeowner, the wife, was sick. Was sick. When she gave me a hug when I arrived, she's like, "I'm so happy to see you." And then she said, "I don't feel very well," which I was really upset because I was like, "Why would you hug me and then turn around and say I don't feel well?" That's one. But the next day, she was full blown sick, so she ended up not going on her trip. And the husband, who was about to go to work, says, "Oh, well, you can still stay and just keep my wife company." I'm like, no. I'm going to leave now, and I'm going to go ahead and do a claim with Trusted House Sitters. And I sent the claim in and let them know that the homeowner had to cancel because she wasn't well. And I sent them the screenshot of the WhatsApp communication, and I also made sure I did the cancellation within the Trusted House Sitters platform, and got everything processed. I sent them the receipt of my Airbnb that I ended up getting, and they reimbursed me. So I know that some people have said they've had problems with Trusted House Sitters if they have to do a claim. I mean, I've only had to use it once, and I do have premium membership, and I did not have any problems. I just, sent them the documentation that they required, and I was good. So, but it was just so funny that this owner, the husband, was like, "Well, you could stay with her and take, I guess, like, stay with her." I'm like, "No, you're gonna stay home with your wife. You're gonna stay home with your wife and take care of the dogs, and I'm going to leave now because I can't get comfortable in your home if you're here." Okay. Anyways, I think that is it, people. Oh, I do want to go ahead and share in the information below in the comments, if you are interested in meeting up with me and some other wonderful Black people in April. We are having a meetup. It's a week long. You can come and go as you please. It's up to you because everything is a la carte. But from April 13th to April 19th, we're going to do the first 3 days in Madrid, and then the last 3 days in Zaragoza, and I'll have some things happening and fun times will be had by all. And I'm looking forward to seeing. I hope you can make it. If you are interested, you can either go to the link for the Black in Zaragoza Facebook group and join there, and there you will see the event. Or if you would like, there is a link to subscribe to the email subscription, and from there you will get the invitation, and also you will get a Move to Madrid checklist to give you some insight on things that you need to consider if you are looking at relocating to Spain. Okay, so with that, I think we are done, and it has been such a joy. And thank you guys for hanging out with me for the past hour and a half. It's been cool. And actually, I have to meet with the young lady with Melanin Madrid, who we're going to actually be hosting the first big event on April 13th when y'all arrive here in Madrid. So, yay! I'm excited. And thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate ya.